Oklahoma fans, let's talk. Let's talk because we're doing our record predictions right now, as you well know, and I gave you my record prediction on Oklahoma. I have them going 6-6. Vegas has the over-under at 7.5. Now, when I put this prediction out, we heard from everybody of Sooner Nation and then some in my mentions, in the comments section, of my direct messages. Like, we heard from y'all. Oklahoma fans, we've had a lot of y'all subscribe to this On3 YouTube channel. We appreciate you so much for that, man. Y'all have been with us since the early days of this show. We got a lot to talk about here moving forward into the beautiful thing that will be the 2024 college football season. Don't want y'all to miss a minute of it. So make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all so much in advance for that. You're frustrated. I understand you're frustrated. And that's part of the reason why we actually have a fair amount of affection for the Oklahoma fan base. There is buy-in. There is passion. Like, we love that. We absolutely love that. But let's have a discussion here. Let's have a little heart-to-heart. I'll start with this. Oklahoma fans, we have some history together. And a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. Before we were fortunate enough to do the hard count here at this desk with On3, we did this show pseudo-independently with another company in a lobby in Waco, Texas. And when we were building that channel, I mean, it was like grassroots from the ground floor. We're cranking out videos, giving you our opinions as we do right now, trying to develop an audience, trying to see what sticks, trying to see who will listen to our opinions, essentially. And the Oklahoma faithful were the very first fan base to give us some traction, to kind of buy into what we're doing here, to believe in us, and to give us some momentum. Like, I would argue that I don't know if we are fortunate to do this job full time now if Oklahoma doesn't jump on the bandwagon with us with the show, The Hard Count, in the early days. And that was when, like, Caleb Williams had just taken over the job. That was the year where Lincoln Riley left for USC and Brent Venables got tired and all those things. Y'all embraced us. So thank you for that. But we have some history. We go back quite a bit. The frustration seems to be around this prediction, not so much that you disagree, because I think that the whole 6-6 thing is like, you're entitled to your opinion, just like we're entitled to our opinion. And if you disagree, you disagree, and that's totally fine. The interesting frustration point, I think, is that a lot of y'all are like, well, hey, JD, you keep telling us what we could be. You say we could do this, we could do that, we could win 8 games, we could win 10 games. However, though, you put us at 6-6, and the conclusion that some of y'all came to is like, this guy just hates Oklahoma. This guy just hates Boomer Sooner Nation. I'm like, whoa, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. Let's look in reverse for a second. Go back to last year. Everyone's talking down on Brent Venables. If he has a bad year, he's on the hot seat. What's Oklahoma going to be? Like, they're definitely not going to be, cut out for the SEC when they get there. 6-7 this, 6-7 that. Told everybody that would listen. Brent Venables is 1, the right guy for the job. 2, they lost a lot of close games. And 3, I had y'all at 10-2 last year. Okay, so if there was a reason for us to be down on Oklahoma, missed the memo last year. All right, so that's all I'll say on that. I'm very much so not down on Oklahoma. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. I'm not down on Oklahoma. I'm not even down on this year's Oklahoma. Look at what they have on the roster. I've told you, I think they have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. I love the defense. I love what Brent Venables brings to the table. My questions, though, are very obvious. They're the same questions that y'all probably have. What's up with Jackson Arnold? What's up with the offensive line? First-year starting quarterback in the SEC, replaced pretty much all 5 of the offensive linemen. And the schedule's really hard. Like, that's the big thing. If you took this team and copied and pasted it back into the Big 12, Oklahoma fans would be like, what? Why'd y'all do that? We want to be in the SEC. So there's that. But also, if you were to take this team and put it in the Big 12, I think it'd be a 9-10 win team. I'd have a hard time not putting Oklahoma back in the Big 12 championship game. Just so we're all aligned there. But since you're in the SEC, and since you have the schedule that you have, I have question marks. And that's where we sit here in August. We have question marks. And that's kind of what this part of the year is for, is to have some desire to learn, to call it as we see it right now. And then as we get more information, we'll develop our opinion, which we are grateful to be able to do. If you could promise me without a shadow of a doubt that Jackson Arnold would give you B+ to A- quarterback play, and the same deal for the offensive line, I'd say, okay, well, Oklahoma's probably a, 10-win team. Maybe better, we'll see. Top 10, top 15 team, we'll see. And that's been reflected in what I think of them preseason. I have them right there in the top 20. Like that we think Oklahoma, from a roster perspective, is pretty solid. But the unproven parts with the schedule that they have makes us a little bit concerned. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to the swing games for Oklahoma when you talk about their record. Like whatever you think about them against Tennessee, when they're at Auburn, against Missouri, and at LSU, probably determines what your final record for them is predicted to be. So again, if you can tell me Jackson Arnold's going to be 10 out of 10, offensive line is going to be 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, great. Then those are probably a situation where they're going 4-0 in that game or 4-0 in that stretch, and like we'll see what happens at the end of the year. But again, I am much more wait and see right now when it comes to Oklahoma. Because when it comes to 2024, I've said a couple of things. The context for them is extremely, extremely crucial. Extremely crucial. First-year quarterback, new offensive line, most difficult conference in college football. That has to be accounted for. Has to be accounted for. I've said I think they're one of the most volatile teams in college football. I've said on radio multiple times, I think they're one of the most intriguing and difficult teams to get a gauge for. Because as much as I have question marks about those units and those positions, again, I love the defense. I love the leadership. I love the skill players. You can get the ball to Deion Burks like the good times are rolling for you in Norman, right? Like I don't question those pieces. But the first part of the equation is the offensive line and the quarterback. That's where every play starts. Okay, so having question marks around that is why we have them what we have them in the preseason. Okay? I've said this a couple times. I'll reemphasize this right now. Regardless of this year, Brent Venables is your guy. If we end up being right and they go 6-6, there's going to be a lot of folks saying Brent Venables this, Brent Venables that. Is he the right guy? It's not what we're talking about on this show. He brings the right culture. He brings the toughness. He brings the edge on defense. He's going to recruit his tail off. He gets Oklahoma. Like all those things line up for me to where if they go 6-6 their first year in the SEC with a new quarterback and a new offensive line, big whoop. New play caller, who cares? I'm not out on Oklahoma. This year is a transitional year in my mind. And if we're wrong, we will be the first ones to say we're wrong, and we'll talk about it, and we'll have a good discourse back and forth between y'all. But I just wanted to make sure we got aligned here. Oklahoma fans, there's no reason to have some animosity and think that we're not down on your football team, all right? We love y'all. We love the Sooners. We love Oklahoma. But we're going to call it how we see it, regardless of the kickback we do or don't get, all right? So we appreciate y'all. Hope y'all can appreciate that. And we appreciate y'all just bringing the passion that we have come to love y'all for. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.